Alright, general disclaimer. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Today, I want to talk about choosing headshots, but it's not so much going to be about choosing the right headshots, it's going to be letting you know what the size of the thumbnail is that shows up for us on the casting profiles. This here is Annie Freed. She just took some shots with Vonnie. Typically what I do is I try to gather all your selects and put them in this little image here so I can see everything side by side and see the contrast and see, okay, what shots are we presently missing for Annie. Annie shot with Vonnie, and as you can see, the selects that we chose show Annie in a different light. Even though you have some where she's wearing glasses, she's chosen 2 different frames of glasses, which is smart, and that makes her have more characters. And they really do, to me, look like different people versus just Annie wearing different outfits. And that's the key. Sometimes people make the mistake of thinking that just because you changed your shirt or you put on a pair of glasses, that's a different look. No, a different look is about embodying different characters. For anybody who's listening to this outside the United States, you need to understand that we're in Los Angeles, and it's a Los Angeles-based market. I've had clients from other countries who come in with headshots that are just not going to fly. We work differently here. We don't have the capacity to imagine you in the role, so you have to help us out, okay? So that's Annie. Now, here's me. Back in the day, in my prime, a couple years ago. This is my headshot at some sort of acceptable size. What I want to show you now is how big your headshot is going to look when you're on a casting site. That little, and that's at 100%. That's 110 by 140, and I'll say it again, 110 pixels by 140 pixels. This photo is going to have to be cropped, and this is how big it's going to look at the end. So here it is at 110 by 140. It's a staunch difference, right? That's how big you are in our queue. Whether you're with your agent, whether or not you're being presented to casting, this is how big you are. So when I get on you about cropping your headshots properly, this is why. Because you've taken a picture that was this big, and it ends up being this big. Let's see if I can do this quickly. If I take this photo and resize it down to 140, 110 by 140, you're going to see that I'm going to be much smaller than in the thumbnail frame. So we'll start with that. Okay, so I took the original photo, and this is it at 100%. So this is it pretty much uncropped. I cropped a little bit, as you saw, compared to this. So let's compare these two. So as you can see, in fact, we will even make a new one so you can see them side by side. How's that sound? Okay, this is them side by side. So this is my original headshot here on the left. That's it at its, normal size, cropped down to 140. And then this is it after I did a crop and then shrunk it down to 110 by 140. So as you can see, which one of these is going to stick out in a queue? It's most likely going to be this one because you can see more face in the You can see more face in the frame. Damn our culture and our combining of words. This is still a good headshot, except no one can see me. Okay, here now they can see me. So let's move on. Again, 110 by 140. This is Corey Kirk. Hi, Corey. This is Corey at 110 by 140. This is Danielle Lee. Hi, Danielle. This is Danielle at 110 by 140. So, let's play a little game. Here's the three of us side by side, 110 by 140. You can see, pretty much have decent face. Okay, now this is us pretending to be a sea of people in Casting's queue. So let's just drive this point home some more. You have to realize that on average, there are as low as 1,500 to as high as 5,000. I normally say there's 3,000 to 5,000 submissions in a casting director's queue at any point in time. Okay, so we've got this beautiful sea of people. This isn't even anywhere near what casting sees, but this is visually what it's going to look like. I only used 3 photos, but still, just imagine this as a grip of other people. You've got to be able to stand out in this queue, and I'll make it just a little bit bigger, but that's going to cut off a lot. As you can see, that's a lot of faces to go through. So you have to be very selective with your headshot, make sure you're choosing the right shot, make sure you have appropriate lighting, make sure it looks professional. A lot of people are still taking photos with their cell phones that don't look very good, okay? You really do want to have a good looking photo, you know, with respect to balance. And here's what I mean. You want to have proper exposure, you want to have proper lighting, you want to make sure there isn't a tree sticking out of the side of your head. That's what I mean by proper balance. I don't mean, you know, go and get it to where you're over the top, airbrushed, and you're just looking funny, okay? What I mean is does the photo look professional? So that's the key, okay? So once again, you're only this big, 110 by 140. You might be a wee bit bigger on Casting Frontier. On Actors Access, you might be a little bit bigger as well, but this is essentially the size that your headshot is going to display as when you are in a casting queue or when your agent or manager has you on their roster. That's it. So hopefully this helps you. You need to keep this in mind when you're choosing your headshots, but also when you're choosing the crop for your headshots. Do not crop at the chin and just be nothing but face. That is the worst. Okay? Don't crop and just do this and just be a big old head in the frame. It's not gonna go over very well. Okay? That's too much. So don't do that. Do it to where you're doing it from just a little bit above the bust line, the nipple line, okay? Do a little bit above there. Make sure you're getting at maybe 70 to 75% of face is this. So if you drew a little invisible line, or let's just say 2/3 of the thumbnail should be your face. Now, the difference is if you're doing a body shot, well, you're just gonna have to be tiny. But if they're looking for people with muscles, there's gonna be a lot of people in there that are tiny, and they'll be able to click on your image and make it larger. Now, because I said they'll be able to click on your image and make it larger, don't think that they're gonna sit up there and do this 3,000 times. No, they're gonna go through and they're just gonna click on the headshots that they like, and you'll be put into probably another queue. They might start with like number 6. Then they'll take a look at what they have in number 6 and whittle that down, and eventually you'll be placed in the 1 or the 2. And the 1 is going to be you're getting an audition. The 2 is you're probably on standby in case number 1 screws up and cancels his audition. Number 2 is coming right on in. Okay? So hopefully this helps you guys. Please work on this. I've given you the tools you need to succeed. I've pretty much laid everything out for you in steps, but for some reason you're still not doing the work. This work isn't going to be done for you automatically. You actually have to do this work. If you don't do the work, you're going to get left behind. You're not going to get auditions, you're not going to go out, and you're going to wonder why. A lot of this stuff is simple stuff that's right in front of your faces. You just don't look at it. Look at your profile from the outside. I say this all the time. Take that custom URL and click on it. Look at your profile. Look at how it displays to the world. The same thing for Actors Access. The same thing for Casting Frontier. All of them have the ability to allow you to email your profile to someone, which means you can email that to yourself. Take a look at it from the outside. Does it look like something that is professional, first off? Do you have the correct training? Do you have typos? Is your resume properly formatted? These are all things that we look at. These are all things that can keep you out of the room. Okay? There you have it.